All right, peace and wellness, family. I hope that y'all are happy and whole and well and all that good stuff. I hope that y'all can hear me well. Let me double check my audio, make sure everything is connected, and it is, y'all. My intention for you today is for us to discuss our upcoming full moon in Leo, which is peaking on January 25th, but the shadow period starts today. So it peaks January 25th at 12:53 p.m. Eastern Time. And I really wanted to come before y'all to really discuss the energy right now because I'm already seeing glimpses that a lot of folks are feeling the energy. Shout out to the wellness community. Much love, y'all. I see y'all in the chat. Butterflies in the sky. Hey, you all. Hey. I hope that everybody is well, family. Now I'm already seeing glimpses that this energy of the full moon in Leo is occurring. It's already being felt, right? A lot of people are talking about challenges with folks not wanting to take accountability and folks being in their ego. I've seen a couple posts in the community in the group chat where people are having issues with dealing with narcissists and things like that, and like all of that, y'all, is full moon in Leo energy. Okay. The full moon in Leo, honestly, I feel like the theme of this full moon in Leo is revelations about the ego, challenging the ego, and releasing unhealthy connections and attachments to the ego. Okay. That is the overarching theme of this full moon in Leo. This is the moon energy. This is the time where the ego will be challenged. And we will be challenged to really detach from our ego, to do a lot of healing work, so that we aren't moving and communicating from a space of ego, but also able to be aware of how other people are functioning from a space of ego, how other people's ego may try to challenge us. So I'll get into that later. Again, the intention is for us to discuss this full moon in Leo. So we'll talk about how this energy may impact us. We'll also talk about some things that we can do to utilize this energy for our wellness. Y'all will get 5 journal prompts, 5 crystals, 5 herb recommendations that you can use during this entire shadow period time. And for this full moon in Leo, I really advise that you utilize these herbs, go over these journal prompts really for the next 2 weeks, right? Because the full moon in Leo energy may be a bit intense because we are also in the midst of this new ish transition of Pluto into Aquarius, right? Which is a big deal because Pluto will be in Aquarius for about the next 20 years. So this is a big deal. This is a generational shift. This is a shift that will affect the community. So as we are dealing with Pluto settling in Aquarius, but also dealing with this full moon in Leo over the next 2 weeks, it's going to be a lot about grinding. Do some of that too. Okay. Do some grinding too. But it's about grounding yourself. Okay. It's going to be a lot of grounding, a lot of introspection, a lot of self awareness, just a lot of knowing who you are, and moving from a space of spirit as opposed to a space of ego. So let's get right into it, y'all. Again, this full moon in Leo peaks on January 25th at 12:53 p.m. Eastern Time. We have the full moon is all about revelations and releasing, right? So it gives us the opportunity to receive revelations about things that we may need to release. Now, those things could be mindsets, it could be certain behaviors, certain actions that we take that we need to release. It could be certain people in our life that we may need to release and let go of, right? So during any full moon period, you may experience a lot of revelations, and with those revelations, it's telling you exactly what you need to let go of and what you need to release. Now, to release, you can practice a burn and release ceremony. It may just be a situation where you need to just end a relationship. You could do a cord cutting ceremony, whatever makes you feel comfortable to just kind of let these things go. Okay. Now, Leo energy. I love Leos. Okay. I love them dearly. I'm a Leo rising. Shout out to all my Leo energy people. I'm a Leo rising. I love Leo energies because Leo is a fixed fire sign, right? And it's ruled by the sun, it's ruled by that divine energy. When we're talking about Leo energy, we're talking about big energy, very energetic beings. So having a lot of burst of energy, the desire to do something, the desire to move, very courageous, very strong leaders, very strong willed. But okay, but I have to say this, Leos also can be very egocentric people. You know, Leo energy, yes, it's courageous. Yes, it's about leadership. Yes, it's about being energetic. But the challenge for Leos is being self centered, is being egocentric, sometimes a bit dogmatic, right? So, anytime we have full moons, it's important to take note of this because sometimes some of the darker aspects of the sign that the full moon is peaking in actually kind of front during that time. They are a bit heavy during that time. And those are usually the areas where we are challenged, right? On those like darker sides. And when I say darker sides, it's not that these are terrible, it's not that these are bad. It's a good thing to be challenged, right? Because it gives you the opportunity to grow and to elevate. So this full moon in Leo will work in our favor because again, it's really about challenging our own egos, right? Being mindful of our ego, but also mindful of the ego of others. Okay. Now, other planetary aspects that may impact this full moon in Leo. Number one, anytime we have a full moon, first off, the full moon is the full moon because it's opposing the sun. And our sun is officially in Aquarius. So shout out to all of my Aquarius. Okay. Y'all know I'm an Aquarius sun. Okay. Shout out to us. It's our season, it's our time, you know. So when we have that full moon in Leo opposing that sun in Aquarius, now, Aquarius energy is the perfect balance for Leo, but Aquarius is all about free flowing creativity, not wanting to be attached to anybody or anything. The challenge with that opposition of the sun in Aquarius and the moon in Leo is that you will have the desire to move, that energetic Leo energy, that desire to be courageous, that desire to do something different and creative and free, but also the desire to kind of isolate, right? To kind of do it for self, you know, as opposed to being feeling communal during this time. So it really, and it may not, it's not going to feel negative, right? It'll just kind of feel like you just get this burst of like, I got to do me energy, you know, I got to put me first, Lucius. A lot of folks are feeling that right now, that I got to put me first, Lucius type of energy. Like I got to prioritize myself, which is a good thing. It's a good thing to do that. So if you are feeling that way, you are definitely in this vibe. You are in this energy. Now, speaking of oppositions that are in Aquarius, this full moon in Leo is also opposing Pluto in Aquarius. Now, I talked about Pluto in Aquarius a long time ago because back in March of 2023, Pluto had briefly transitioned into Aquarius. And I had talked about it in a video. I had shared that link in the Wellness Community group chat earlier today. I shared it this morning. It's at the 1507 mark of that link. And I talked about it then. And I had mentioned how it's going to have a brief transition back into Capricorn and then return right back to Aquarius and stay there. Well, we have now returned, right? So this full moon in Leo is opposing Pluto in Aquarius. Now, when we talk about Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto is our power, our planet. Y'all, let me just be clear. I've been up since 1 o'clock this morning. Okay, I've been up since 1 o'clock this morning. I've been meditating. I've been vibing. Okay, so y'all just got to flow with me. Okay. I'm on a trip on my favorite rocket ship, zooming through the skies. Little Einstein. Okay. So flow with me here. Okay. But when I'm talking about Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto is our planet of generational transformation, generational change, right? So a lot of people just call it the planet of transformation. It's not just about individual transformation. We're talking about a generational transformation, transformation that will affect everyone. So transformation that will affect systems, you know, transformation that will affect societal norms, ways of thinking. This Pluto in Aquarius transformation is going to be big. And I'm going to tell y'all this during this time, I truly, truly, truly feel like Gen Z is going to make their mark legacy wise. The changes, the big changes that are going to come that will affect us in a very positive way with regard to government, with regard to systems. You know, we've been talking in the wellness community, we've been talking a lot about like caste systems and internal conditionings that come from different caste systems and things like that. I feel like Gen Z is going to really make their mark with creating a lot of long term change, breaking generational curses, you know, in families, but as a society as a whole. You know, we really need to look to the youth during this time. We really need to look to the young people. You know, it's going to be a beautiful torch that will be passed to Generation Alpha, you know. So, this is the time where I honestly, and again, going back to that ego, right? A lot of elders, millennial, Gen X, boomers, you know, a lot of us are going to have to mind our ego and look to the youth on how to move forward. Look to the youth when it comes to ways that we are doing things politically, socially, in the home, spiritually, and things like that, because a lot of the youth are going to start stepping up in major ways, right? So, that's just how I'm feeling. That's just what's coming to me. That's the energy that I'm in, and that's how I'm receiving this Pluto in Aquarius right now. Now, how is that going to affect us over this next week, right? Having that full moon in Leo opposition, the ego can block you from accepting transformation and change, especially when it comes to societal norms, especially when it comes to like understanding how you may be negatively contributing to certain issues, certain problems within the family, within your community, your inner circles, as well as the larger community as a whole, right? So, with this full moon in Leo, it's going to be about challenging yourself to detach from the ego, be introspective, and really take accountability for how you may have been conditioned and how that conditioning may be contributing to negative societal issues, essentially. Okay, so that is going to be the challenge over this next week. You know, I got it, wellness community. I know I got to shout her out. Ava DuVernay just dropped a movie. It's in theaters now. It's called Cast, right? It's not Cast, excuse me. It's called Origin, and it's about the caste systems, right? And it's calling out the caste systems in society. And I heavily advise that everybody goes out and watches Origin right now. Niecy Nash is in it. It's starring Anjanou Ellis Taylor. So many. The cast is amazing. It's a great cast, right? So go out and watch the film Origin, and just to get an idea, because what I was telling the wellness community over this month, we've been talking a lot about like wellness and elevating our shadow work, elevating our healing practices. We've been reading the book called All About Love by Bell Hooks, right? And we had started talking about just how we all have internalized conditioning, and it may not be a fault of your own, but it happens. We're conditioned in childhood, right? When you raise a child, when a child is raised, they are conditioned to and trained to follow a certain code of behavior. That's what it means to discipline a child, right? You raise them to follow a code of behavior. The code of behavior that you have been taught to follow is what your parents thought was okay, is what your parents thought usually would help you survive and potentially thrive in this world. But be mindful that what they thought would help you to survive and thrive in this world may have been steeped in white supremacy. It may have been steeped in patriarchy. It may have been steeped in so many different caste systems and things like that that negatively affect society, like classism, elitism, and things like that. So it's important to understand caste systems. It's important to understand how your environmental conditioning from your parents, from your household, from education, going to school, from the environment you have grown up in has affected your own internalized conditioning and how that internalized conditioning affects your behavior. But to do that, you have to be able to detach from the ego. You have to be able to separate yourself from this idea of who you think you are and really be open to have some realizations that you may be behaving and thinking and making decisions and even sometimes raising your own children out of spaces that are just not centered in wellness, based in conditioning that's just not centered in wellness. And if you want to shift to a space of wellness and you want to move and behave and think and flow and raise your children from a space of wellness, you got to detach from the ego and be real with yourself about some things. So go watch that film, Origin by Ava DuVernay. Again, it's an amazing cast. The film really helps you understand caste systems all across the world globally, because this is not just an American thing. Of course, this is not just a Black thing or a white thing. This is a global conversation that needs to be had. And again, this is the perfect time to have it. So I talked about the two oppositions of the sun in Aquarius as well as Pluto in Aquarius that's opposing this full moon in Leo. Next up, I want to talk about the squares, right? So this full moon in Leo will be squaring Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus, okay? Now, Uranus is our planet of innovation. It's our planet of universal collective technology, and it is officially direct, which is a great thing. So, to have Uranus squaring this full moon, a square can also bring a bit of a challenge, but a challenge that we should kind of embrace in a sense. You need to be mindful of it, but you should also embrace it, okay? So just be mindful that right now technology may be a bit challenging, and again, universal technology. So I'm talking about like technological advancements, technological changes, and things like that may have a universal effect. I'm gonna say we've already gotten a glimpse of that, right? Of a technological advancement that has been a challenge for many people with cars, right? With vehicles. We had a lot of cold weather. The Teslas have been freezing. That technological advancement kind of has been a challenge for a lot of people universally. So when I say like that, Uranus being a bit of a challenge, having that square with the full moon in Leo, that will challenge the ego. Because see, when you make a large purchase like that, a nice, beautiful purchase like that, it can be a challenge to the ego to have something like that work against you. You see what I'm saying of how this works? So if you have a newer advancement in technology, you may be challenged with that right now, whether from a new phone, a new laptop, a new car, an electric car, something like that, something that may challenge the ego when it comes to technological advancements, as well as innovation. You may be feeling a bit stuck and stagnant when it comes to creating right now. Okay, so just be mindful of that. If you are, I would heavily advise watch things that are inspiring you, things that inspire you to create, to do. I've been watching a lot of different documentaries lately, old documentaries that I know inspire me to get up and create and do something. Okay, so with the wellness community, we just watched Bob Marley's doc. It's called Marley. It's available on YouTube. Y'all can watch it. We just watched that yesterday as a collective, just to get inspired to get up and do something, right? To like leave a beautiful legacy centered in love and freedom and revolution and all of these things, right? So watch something that inspires you to create, to be innovative, especially if you are feeling like you are, in a bit of a brain fog, okay? Now, with that Jupiter squaring, okay, Jupiter is our planet of expansion, our planet of abundance, also our planet of understanding our values when it comes to finances and things like that. Now, having that square, having that slight challenge with the full moon in Leo, of course, it's obvious, y'all. It's obvious. Be mindful of what you are focusing on growing right now externally. This is not the time to be as money focused right now over this next week and really these next 2 weeks. Don't make impulsive decisions that's centered in making quick money and doing things like that. Think things through. Just be mindful of your impulses right now to make decisions about expansion and things like that. I'm not saying that you can't decide to have a dramatic change or a dramatic transformation, but don't do it impulsively right now. You need to really think things through and just be mindful of that, okay? And then the last thing I want to talk about is our trine of Chiron. So this full moon in Leo is trining Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer, right? So y'all, anytime we have that trine, a trine is essentially a planet that's 120 degrees. Chiron is technically not a planet, but we acknowledge it because of its significance, right? And there's a significant impact on the energy. So again, Chiron is known as the wounded healer. So when we have that trine, that sense of harmony, right? So y'all see, so y'all hear Salam starting. Y'all hear Salam starting. Y'all hear him starting. He was doing good. He was doing good. Okay, Salam, come on. I'm talking to my people, please. Okay, but Chiron, our wounded healer, when we have that trine, when we have that sense of harmony with Chiron, our wounded healer, it's important to understand that this is a good time to focus on healing wounds. But right now, it's not just about healing any wounds. I want us to really focus on inner child work, inner child wounds, especially because Chiron is in Aries, right? So Aries is our planet of passion, it's our planet of youth, right? Our planet also dealing in fertility and things like that. So again, dealing in youth, right? And abundance and multiplication and stuff like that. So when we consider Chiron and Aries and that beautiful trine, that beautiful harmony, this is a good time for us to do inner child work. But I don't want y'all to just focus on inner child healing only. First, I want you to praise yourself for the growth that you have made with healing your inner child already. So acknowledge how you have grown when it comes to healing your inner child. How far have you have come in your inner child work? Okay. And this is for my people who have been on their wellness journey for a while. Really, really, really take inventory of your inner child. Take note of your inner child and where you are today, and consider how far you have come. Okay, how far you have come, and give yourself praise for that. Give yourself gratitude for that. You know, sometimes this wellness journey can feel a bit overwhelming, but I feel like it's because we don't look back sometimes. You know, people always tell you, don't look back, don't look back. You know, very biblical. You'll turn into a pillar of salt. Don't look back, you'll turn into a pillar of salt. You know, people always tell you stuff like that. But sometimes it's important to look back so you can see how far you've come. So take a moment to look back and give yourself praise and honor for the work that you have done thus far in your inner child. And then pick a healing focus area. Pick the next step on how you want to elevate your inner child work. Don't be afraid to just do something fun and loose and crazy to feed your inner child, you know, to nurture your inner child. Don't be afraid. Go. I was telling somebody. We was talking about like easy bake ovens, you know, and I was telling my friend, I said, girl, if you want an easy bake oven, she was talking about how as a kid she always wanted one and never got one. I said, girl, go get the easy bake oven, and she was like, what do I look like getting an easy bake oven right now? And I said, you know what? And I understand, you know, that may feel a bit too childish to go get an easy bake oven. I said, but maybe your spirit is calling you to get into baking, right? Like, okay, it may feel stupid to you to get an easy bake oven, right? But if you keep on thinking about how as a little girl, you always wanted this easy bake oven and you never got it, girl, go get an easy bake oven. If you don't want to do that, girl, get into baking. Just find a fun recipe, find something creative. And she has a daughter. So I was telling her, like, you know, you have a baby, like, you know, you and your daughter, put your daughter up on that chair in the kitchen, honey, and y'all make some chocolate chip cookies or make some bread from scratch or something. Like, do something just fun and creative and really heal that inner child. Go outside. Well, it's snow right now, but go outside. If you ain't in a snowy area, go jump some rope, you know. Teach yourself how to jump double dutch, you know, do something fun, go play kickball. You and your friends get together and have a kickball game or something like that. Like, just do something fun for your inner child, you know. Again, with that Chiron trining in harmony with the full moon in Leo, this is a good time just to like let loose and have fun. And again, helping us to detach from that ego too, because the ego tells us we're too old to do this and you have to be mature, you have to behave a certain way. So again, giving us an opportunity to detach from that ego as well. Okay, y'all. So we've gone over our planetary alignment, how it will impact our energy, as well as some things we should do. Let me check my notes and make sure I went through everything. I talked to y'all about just being mindful of, and I really have to say this. I said this in the beginning, but I want to reiterate this again. Just be mindful of confrontation right now that's centered in ego. When I have a video about the ego and stuff like that, another video is about the ego and knowing how to identify ego versus intuition. And sometimes, when we have full moons in Leo, you're doing your ego work, but everybody's not aware of what's going on right now, right? So some folks may be moving out of ego and they don't realize it, but you are aware of what's going on. So now you can take accountability for being mindful of not just your ego, but the ego of others, and do not engage it. Don't meet ego with ego. You know, Sometimes, especially over this next week, next 2 weeks, people may try to start little confrontations, say little things to you to try to trigger you, and they're doing it from a sense of ego. They're doing it sometimes to seek attention, sometimes for control, sometimes for power, so just be mindful. You have to know when somebody is saying something to you to kind of dig, when they're saying something to you to kind of like control your emotions, get an emotional response. That's attention seeking, that's control seeking, that's power seeking. You have to reclaim your power and make the conscious choice to move from a space of spirit and wellness. And that could look like walking away from the person. That could look like redirecting the conversation. That could look like maybe taking a break from the conversation for that moment and returning back to it. But y'all really have to be mindful right now. When we have full moons as a whole, regardless of what sign it's in, full moons peak emotion. It's high tide, it's heavy emotion. So a lot of folks are moving from a very emotional space right now. So you have heavy emotion plus heavy ego. We have to be aware of what's going on right now. So again, don't meet ego with ego. Meet ego with wellness. When they try to challenge you with their ego, you subside, move on, choose spirit, choose wellness, however that looks for you. Okay. Now let's get into journal prompts. The wellness community, y'all know y'all don't need to take notes, but if you are not in the wellness community, you may want to take these notes verbatim for the journal prompts. Okay. 5 journal prompts. The first one, again, y'all know Leo is all about courage, being very audacious. We talked about that last time, having a lot of courage. First journal prompt: when has your courage served you? Discuss a time you felt courageous, took courageous action, and it worked. How did that shift your relationship with courage? Again, when has your courage served you? Discuss the time you felt courageous, you took courageous action, and it worked. How did that shift your relationship with courage? The second journal prompt: describe your relationship with your ego. How do you check your own ego? How do you check your own ego? How do you know if you're making decisions or moving from a space of ego as opposed to spirit? How do you check yourself? Okay. Third prompt: what is a major transformation that you desire to manifest for yourself? What is a major transformation that you desire to manifest for community, for the all? And when I say for community, you could talk about like for your friend group, for your family, your community as a whole. You could talk about society, the world, all of it, right? That's completely up to you. But what is a major transformation that you desire to manifest for yourself? And then what's one that you want to manifest for your community? Fourth journal prompt: what areas of life or topics is it a challenge for you to remain open minded? How do you stop yourself from becoming dogmatic? I mentioned to y'all how that Leo energy, because it can be egocentric, it can also become dogmatic. A lot of pontification can occur. Leos pontificate a lot. So how do you stop yourself from becoming dogmatic? What areas of life is it a challenge for you to remain open minded about? And how do you stop yourself from not becoming closed-minded in that area? What challenges do you give yourself to remain open-minded in that area? How do you stop yourself from being dogmatic, from thinking that your way is the only way? Okay, so just be mindful of that. Now, I have a video, Sage, I have a video on ego versus intuition and how to check the ego. So I'll tag, after this is over, I'll tag that in the description. That's a good question. Uh, Fifth journal prompt. How has your relationship with your inner child grown since you've started your wellness journey? What area of your inner child work do you want to focus on now? Right. And again, that's that trine, that complement of Chiron, right? Which is a beautiful thing. Okay, so those are the 5 journal prompts. Now, 5 crystals to help you with this energy, right? And with these 5 crystals, you can meditate with them. You can put them in your bra, put them in your drawers, put them in your pockets, your purse, your car, whatever you feel comfortable with. But the purpose of the crystals is just to be a complement and to really help you connect with the energy that you desire. Okay, so the first crystal is called peridot. And that crystal is a heart chakra crystal. It's all about opening the heart, keeping us open-minded, helping us detach from the ego, and being heart-centered, heart-filled. Okay, love-centered. The second crystal is labradorite. That's one of my favorites because it's all about emotional wellness, helping us mind our emotions and mind our ego as well. Labradorite. The third crystal is jasper. Jasper is all about creativity and flow. I told y'all that could be a challenge right now, especially with that square of Uranus, our planet of innovation. You may feel a bit of brain fog, a bit of challenge to creativity, maybe desiring to do something, but not quite knowing what to do or how to do it. So that jasper is very good to help enhance that creativity and flow. The fourth crystal is hematite. Hematite is all about grounding, keeping us grounded. And you'll see a lot of like the hematite rings and things like that, which are always good to have. Helps keep you grounded and connected to the root chakra. And the fifth crystal is yellow topaz. And yellow topaz is all about confidence, helping you tap into that Leo energy of confidence and being strong when needed, strong-willed and things like that. So for anybody who's lacking confidence, especially for the youth, if you have a young person in your life who seems to be struggling with self-esteem, struggling with confidence, yellow topaz is a great gift to give to them for that, to increase the confidence, okay? So running back through the crystals again, peridot, labradorite, jasper, hematite, and yellow topaz. Those are the 5 crystals. Now the herbs. For these herbs, I would definitely advise that you drink them and make a tea out of them. If you want to, you can also roll them up if you desire. Okay, that's up to you. But I would advise making a tea out of them. The first herb is mullein. First off, y'all know mullein is very good for lung health right now. We are in the season where we need to be taking care of our respiratory system and making sure we're good. So it's good for that. But spiritually, mullein is good for courage, enhancing the courage, protection, and good health as a whole. Okay, so mullein. The second herb is lemon peel. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all, so on Amazon, you can go on there and they sell like I forget the company. I got a bag of it in my house. I'll find it. I'll put it in the wellness community group chat. But they sell grinded lemon peel, like ground lemon peel powder. You can buy that. I think it was like $8 or something like that for like a pretty big bag of it on Amazon. If you don't feel like drying out lemon peels and doing all of it yourself, you could just buy it on Amazon, child. Okay, so get you some lemon peel. And with the lemon peel is for purification and love energy, but heavily for purification. The peel part is heavily for purification. So get those ground lemon peels if you can, or you could just, peel a lemon, let it dry out, grind it down, turn it into a powder. And you can make a tea out of it if you want to, or you could just boil the lemon peels. But for me personally, I find that when you boil the lemon peels, it makes the tea just a bit too zesty for me. It's a bit too zesty. Okay, so that's why, just a little, maybe put a sliver in there. Okay, put a sliver. But the good thing about having the lemon peel powder as well is that you can make a smoke bowl with the lemon peel powder too, and it's really good as a smoke bowl. Okay, Damiana. Damiana is good for increasing intuition as well as creativity. Okay, Damiana is very good for intuition and creativity. Hawthorn or hyssop. If you don't have hawthorn, you can also use hyssop, but that's good for purification and protection. And then dillweed. Dillweed is good for peace energy. And dillweed you can get out of the grocery store. Okay, you can get that right out the grocery store, no problem. All right, so running through the 5 herbs again: mullein, lemon peel, damiana, hawthorn, or hyssop. So technically 6 herbs: hawthorn or hyssop, and dillweed. Those are your 5 herbs and a bonus option. Okay. And again, with all of those, I advise you make a tea. You could also turn those into a smoke bowl as well if you want to. Everything in here would be good for a smoke bowl as well. So, or to roll up and smoke if you want to. It's completely up to you, family. Okay. So just remember this full moon in Leo peaks on the 25th. Okay. But today is the start of the shadow period, and that shadow period lasts until the 28th. All right. Now, as far as candle work, you can definitely do some candle work during this time if you want to, but it will be more centered around release, right? So you could write what you want to release, what you want to let go of on the candle if you want to, if you feel led to, if that's what you desire to do, or write it on a piece of paper or a paper towel or some bay leaf and put that under the candle. And then when the candle goes out, you can take it outside and you can burn it. All right. So if you want to do candle work, it'll be centered in that. But remember, for full moons, we release, reveal, and release. So a lot of revelations about challenges to the ego, parts of the ego you need to work on, and you need to release that energy. All right. So just be mindful of that. And also revelations about people that you may need to release that are intentionally trying to challenge your ego, right? Intentionally trying to trigger you. So be mindful of that as well. Okay. As far as, it was one more thing. Moon water. If you want to collect some moon water right now, collecting moon water would be okay. Salam, please. Please. Thank you. If you want to collect some moon water right now, it'll be okay. But moon water for the full moon in Leo, as well as Pluto in Aquarius, I would honestly say it would be good for confidence. Okay. It'll be good for confidence. It'll be good for courage. For me personally, am I going to choose to gather moon water right now? No, I am not. But if you want to, if you feel led to, you definitely can. It'll be good moon water to have anytime you want to release anything that is blocking you from being courageous, anything that is blocking you from taking that next step in being a leader and being assertive and things like that. So it would be good for that. If you wanted to take a spiritual bath for releasing fears, it'll be good for that, right? So that's what moon water would be good for right now. Other than that, I wouldn't use it for too many other things, right? This is not a new moon in Leo, right? Where you're trying to manifest certain things. This is, a full moon where you want to release. So again, the spiritual bath or anything you do with that moon water would be centered around release at that time. I don't feel led to collect moon water right now, but if you do, follow your spirit. Okay, follow your spirit. Okay, follow your own Ori. All right, family. I love y'all, wellness community. I will see y'all tonight for our series finale watch party for couples therapy. Everybody else, I will see y'all soon. Okay, I will see y'all soon. I love y'all dearly, family. Much peace, much prosperity, and much love, y'all. Peace.